Yeah, there's an urgency now. That's another part to this. That there's, I'm not exactly sure what it is. And I don't even look at it really, but it's there. There's a driving force right now, an urgency that I've never felt like this before. Like time is short, and I don't know what that means necessarily. I don't know if that means time is short for me because I'm going to get the brain hemorrhage in 2 years, and I've only got a little bit of time to do something to do this. I mean, or is a bigger scene where the collapse is coming and it's going to be impossible to move at that point. So get things. I tend to think that's more what it is that there's some time right now to kind of get prepositioned and get into a place where he wants to have his people in different places and kind of out of the morass that's just piling up here. But whatever it is, there is a definite sense of urgency because something huge is on the horizon, and we've always talked about that, and everyone senses it. And I don't look at it. I don't care. I mean, a part of me is like, yeah, whatever. And yet it's driving me. It's what I'm finding is, I wake up and bam, I'm hitting this thing, and I'm up till like wee hours, and yet I'm never tired. I've got just like unlimited energy that just is being just downloaded down, is just force fed almost.
Hello, friends and YouTubers. What you just listened to there for that short minute and a half was Brother Thomas being interviewed by Zeph Daniel. And their timing is impeccable. Wow, talk about it. But anyways, I've decided to make this video to inform you of some information which I've became aware of, and it's rather disturbing. So I do hate to be the messenger or bearer of bad news, but there is definitely something that I want to share with you all. Before getting into the information of the Deagle.com website, I want to review a quick abstract with you in regards to this information. First of all, from his website and also that website All News Pipeline, it stated that the population of the United States is around 350 million, maybe 325 million, someplace in between that. And then by 2025, it's going to be reduced to 65 million. So in other words, we're going to have an 80% reduction of the population within the next 9 years here. And they're also predicting a mass migration to Latin America and possibly China. And then, speaking of Latin America, take a look at what is happening in Venezuela at this very moment. This is coming to your neighborhood in the near future, including its cannibalism. What is coming to America will be described as hell on earth. But anyways, I've listed 5 possible explanations for this wave of death and destruction that will be coming, and I think it will be starting probably in 2017 by the end of the year. The top of my list, or my possibilities, is economic collapse, which I think we'll start to see by the first part of June, and following it, its snowball effect on the financial institutions, the banking defaults, inflation, loss of incomes, the destruction of people's retirement funds, a disruption in the just-in-time supply chain in regards to the food supply, and which will lead to famine. Also, there'll be a lack of medical care and medicines, especially the life-saving medicines like the blood pressure, diabetes, heart medicines, and also psychiatric medications. When those run out, it's going to create some real devastation in the households. Plus, I expect there'll be inadequate or complete lack of basic services provided by the local agencies. The second on the list here is disease, and these are probably going to be natural and man-made diseases. And these here man-made diseases will most likely come from viruses, and vaccines are made in labs, just like the Zika virus was quite likely made in a lab someplace. And also you can throw in the chemtrails. And most of you people that are listen to YouTube videos and watch YouTube videos are probably quite well aware of chemtrails. The third on the list is war and civil unrest. I think that once the shit hits the fan and people are starving and angry and bitter about the loss of their retirement funds, there's going to be a lot of unrest and anger and rioting to go with it. My fourth set of scenarios involve natural and non-natural disasters, and the top of this here list are the fireballs. And there was a fireball that was spotted on the East Coast just a week or so ago, and then just a few days ago there was a large fireball over Mexico that exploded. So these here fireballs are going to be coming more frequently. They're probably going to be bigger, and we're going to eventually see some serious damage. The next thing along the line are the earthquakes, floods, volcanoes, which are blowing their tops all over the place. And there was a major volcano that erupted back in the early 1800s that put so much ash in the sky that it cooled off the planet to such a point that crops couldn't or had a hard time growing over a 2-year period, and a lot of people starved to death. And then finally, there's always the concern if the power grid goes down. And this could happen by a solar mass ejection by the sun or by an EMP created by the powers that be. Finally, here's of my 5 parts. This is number 5 of the scenarios or possibilities. And number 5 is to plan deaths by the powers that be and their Agenda 21, which is generally a no-brainer for most of us. And this will be done through their FEMA and death camps. Basically, when the people are starving and they run out of food, people are just going to starve to death in these here death camps. And then, of course, we have the Terminator robots that will be taking out Christians, constitutionalists, and resistors of the new regime. And it does sound like through the grapevine that they will have the first part of these here robots, Terminators or whatever, coming out into the public in 2017. So that's just something to give you a heads up about. And that pretty much sums up my 5 major topics. And now we go on to the Deagle website and information. Hello there, folks. Now here it is. This is from All News Pipeline. They did an analysis of Deagle's information on his website. And the title of this here is U.S. to lose 78% of population by 2025, and now we know why. A confluence of crisis with a devastating result. Deagle.com comes out of the closet. Death toll will be horrible. And this was written by Stephen Stanford. The brand new video below by Ia Adler breaks down Deagle.com's 2025 forecast for America and the world in a way that no one has seen before, and with a message left by Deagle on their website explaining part of the reason why the U.S. will have 240 million less people living here in 2025 than 2015, a 78% population drop. We also see that this depopulation event isn't for the whole world, but mainly Western nations, and the death toll will be horrible, according to a statement released by Deagle. While Deagle whitewashes their explanation for this depopulation event, as seen in their statement, and is entirely below video, we can read between the lines of what they tell us and what they don't to get the whole picture, and it confirms our worst theories. in this day and age of still unlimited immigration into America by illegals at the invitation of Barack Obama. Simply imagine what kind of event it will take here so that millions of Americans who are here now want to flood out of America. It's about to get real. Even though Deagle whitewashes their explanation for why America will have 240 million less living here in 2025 than now, leaving potential nuclear war and pandemic out of the picture, what they do tell us helps us to confirm what preppers and conspiracy theorists have been warning about for many years. America is about to suffer a devastating financial collapse, leading to a horrible death toll. Quote from Deagle. The key element to understand the process that the USA will enter in the upcoming decade is migration. In the past, especially in the 20th century, the key factor that allowed the USA to rise to its colossus status was the immigration with the benefits of a demographic expansion, supporting the credit expansion and a brain drain from the rest of the world benefiting the states. The collapse of the Western financial system will wipe out standard of living of its population while ending Ponzi schemes such as the stock exchange and the pension funds. The population will be hit so badly by a full array of bubbles and Ponzi schemes that the migration engine will start to work in reverse, accelerating itself due to ripple effects, thus leading to the demise of the states. This unseen situation for the states will develop itself in a cascade pattern with unprecedented and devastating effects for the economy. Jobs offshoring will surely end with many American corporations relocating overseas, thus becoming foreign corporations. We see a significant part of the American population migrating to Latin America and Asia, while immigration to Europe, suffering a similar illness, won't be relevant. Nevertheless, the death toll will be horrible. Take into account that the Soviet Union's population was poorer than the Americans nowadays, or even then. The ex-Soviets suffered during the following struggle in the 1990s with a significant death toll and a loss of national pride. Might we say twice the pride, double the fall? Nope, the American standard of living is one of the highest, far more than double the Soviets, while having added a services economy that will be gone along with the financial system. When pensioners see their retirement disappear in front of their eyes and there are no servicing jobs, you can imagine what is going to happen next. At least younger people can migrate. Never in human history were so many elders among the population. In the past centuries, people were lucky to get to their 30s or 40s. The American downfall is said to be far worse than the Soviet Union's one. A confluence of crises with a devastating result. In this first video, we are given a much better perspective of the depopulation event about to hit part of the world. We must warn you, the nations to be depopulated are largely Western nations. Many BRICS nations will see population growth as millions leave America for other parts of the world where they'll have the opportunities they no longer have in America. In the second video below, Alex Jones tells us what many of us already know, and is a surprise even to himself that for once in his life Alex actually agrees with Dick Cheney. Barack Obama is here to destroy America. These results from Deagle show that if the current policies remain unchanged, Obama will likely accomplish this mission. And yeah, that's generally it. We got 2 videos here as was previously described, and really when you take a look at Obama, yeah, he was basically elected. He's here for yeah, destruction of the United States, and that was that's probably almost a supernatural thing too, because you know the United States has been living on such luxury for so long, and it's probably well overdue to be punished. But there's more down below here, but Yeah, it's kind of even with my reading glasses, it's kind of hard to read. But this is information and statements from the author of the Deagle site, and I'll leave links down below in order for you to read this if you're so interested. And here is another article, and it shows an updated version. And so instead of having the 78% less people, he reduced the numbers to even lower, to 65 million in this latest one. And he's got a couple of videos here, and we'll take a look. We'll take a quick look at the Deagle site, and I think that should be pretty much here we go. Sorry to be scrolling back and forth, but here it is, Deagle.com. So I don't know who this person is that runs this here site. He must have a lot of contacts or something. But anyways, you can see this came out, well, the last one was 2014, and you can see the population, he says right up here, 319 million, and then the forecast for 2025 is 65 million. So you can see how everything's going to really drop. But he's got quite a bit of information. Here on military aviation, sea power, ground forces, strategic as opposed to missile system and missile systems, airliners, blah blah blah. And you can see over on the left hand side, this is probably where we get all our gets the resources. So it almost sounds like this guy is almost like an economist, that he can do his research and put everything together as far as where's the direction and everything is going. He's in other words, a good analyst. So I don't know. He must have some close ties to the CIA or something too. But anyways, he does claim that all the information that's here is readily available for anybody if you want to go do the research and find it. But that's about it. So I hope you found this informing or informative. And as I said before, I'll put some links down below so you can check out the videos. And yeah, and my voice is going to pieces right now, so I'm thinking that yeah, supernaturally they just don't want me getting this information out. But hey, have a good day. I see no way around this coming train wreck of the United States of America. We are about to be severely punished, along with the other Western countries like in Europe, for our decadent behaviors and the opulence we've enjoyed over the years. In less than 10 years, if the data is correct and you are still here, then 2 people on your left hand and 2 people on your right hand will not be here and standing next to you in 2025. The great harvest that Jesus Christ described is just around the corner. Sure, you can do a little prepping, but the most important thing is to get right with the Lord, and ASAP. The time of fence-sitting is over. The door is closing soon. If you are an atheist, I emphatically implore you to consider this invitation to Jesus Christ. This date of 2025 does seem to line up quite closely with Daniel's timeline. So I would like to hear comments, especially from you experts whom have studied Daniel's timeline. Finally, I want to give a shout out to Tony over at Mindcrime 1994, who presented this information briefly in a recent video of his. He more or less introduced me to the Deagle website, which I had never heard of. So thank you everybody for taking the time to listen to this video, and bear with me with my rough and raspy voice. It seems like the demons that are out there just didn't want this here message to get through, but somehow it is. So God bless you all, and take care.